Oh snap, we in here. Let's get it. All right, all right. You are now watching Two Boy Sports Show. I am your host, King Ralph, here with a solo dolo show on this wonderful Tuesday night. But hope everybody's doing good out there in TV land. But we got a good show ahead of us. So let's send a little shout out to the sponsors. You want to do a podcast like what you're watching, photo shoot, a music video, call the number on the bottom of the screen, 707 Fit Boxer. And then if you're looking for a clean, genderless, no crash energy drink, go to w.com, DUBBY.com, w.com. Use promo code JUKE and you get 20% off. And then make sure you go and you subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. I am reconstructing a new Facebook page coming up. I will release it during the week. But also, for now, just to keep updated, like the He Say, She Say channel on Facebook. Follow us at KYNGRALPH. Well, you can follow me at KYNGRALPH on TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, at an underscore for X or Twitter. Make sure you go and follow us at Juke Sports Show on Instagram and subscribe on YouTube, Juke Network on YouTube. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. All right. Just had to send a little text out. People being loud in the other room, like, yo. And so, but make sure you go and subscribe at Juke Network on YouTube. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. So help us out. So let's jump into the show. Game 3 of the WNBA, Game 3. Minnesota Lynx are 1-1 with the New York Liberty. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to see right now. Where's the game? And so, essentially is who's winning? Who you got? Who you think will win? Minnesota, or is it going to be New York? And I think for me, it's in Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota's going to win this one. I think, because I think the first two games, the first two games was in New York. So, yeah, I can see Game 3, first game in Minnesota. It's been a minute since they've been in the finals. They have a legit team, and I feel like that crowd's going to be thumping. I feel like Minnesota's going to win this one. I'll probably say pretty handily to keep it a buck. I think it'll be like one of those ones where it might be like a Game 2 where New York Liberty and the Lynx were going back and forth, and then New York just took off. I feel like it'll be one of those types of games, and I think Minnesota's going to end up taking Game 3. And I think for one thing is, but you can't underestimate the heart of a champion. I feel like after Game 1, how I criticized Stewie, not to say that my criticism is what fueled and motivated her to have a good game, or she even know or heard me say it at that. But at the same time, I feel like the criticism, and I was included in it, that she had and had to endure for Game 2. Like, I feel like she bounced back and had a really good game and was one of the driving forces of them winning Game 2. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the game, but I just feel like in the end, Minnesota is rolling right now at home with that crowd. I just feel like, yeah, they're going to come to play, and I feel like they're definitely going to get Game 3. But at the end of the day, I want to see as much basketball as possible, so I'm hoping they go 5. And so we got to jump into it. It's been a minute. I think the last one I did was like a month ago. So Week 7 NFL, King Ralph's NFL Power Rankings. And you know how I get down, 10 all the way up. And so we're going to start off with Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield is shown, at least with this organization, that when given the opportunity, and a legit opportunity, because I feel like a lot of those teams in Cleveland, I feel like he got scapegoated, and it definitely wasn't his fault in Carolina, because look at what they've done with quarterbacks. But also, what he actually had some decent games with the Rams. So it showed that he just needed the right coaching and he could be successful in this league. And so Tampa Bay at 4-2 right now, playing good football. It's hard to leave them out of that 10. I feel like some teams are beating up on bad teams, and Tampa Bay has some good victories. So I'm gonna go with the Steelers. Although today is Justin is getting benched to see what they got out of Russell Wilson, and I just feel like I don't know. That's a little weird to me. They're 4-2. I feel like Justin didn't throw the ball well in the last game, but being able to create on his feet with his legs in a way that Russ is not can't do the same. Now we'll get to see as far as the weapons, as far as what he has to throw to, but that offensive line is awful. So how with Russ is not the runner that Justin is. So we'll see how good Russ is and if Russ gonna cook. At 8, I got Green Bay Packers at 4-2. Good victories, good defense. Jordan Love starting to get into a rhythm. When he has his weapons, like they have some very underrated weapons over there. Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watkins. I just feel like they got weapons over there. And there's one more person I'm missing because they got a cool little 3-headed monster over there that if you just put them on what they do on the field, they may not have the names, but they get busy out there. They get to it. And so I got the Green Bay Packers in at 8. This one was a little tight because it's like these teams. I feel like there's 2 teams that are above everybody, but then everybody else has some kind of kink in the armor that I'm not sure where to put them. So for now, I got number 7 Washington Commanders at 4-2, coming off of a loss to the Ravens. I don't blame them because I feel like the Ravens are a team that's clicking. After you can tell they just didn't play together. I don't even think they played many preseason snaps together, if they did at all. And so had some bad losses out the gate, but they got victories over Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels. I'm trying to think of who's the other one. Oh, and Dak Prescott. And so I just feel like they're clicking at the right time. So I just got them a little higher up the list, and I'll mention them in a second. But the Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels is for real. Y'all got y'all guy of the future. Very well could end up winning their division this year. And they're going to be a team that you're going to have to worry about going forward. But for now, I got them at 7. I got the Buffalo Bills, who are the second team on this list that made a big trade. Or has a change in a major piece. So the Buffalo Bills traded for Amari Cooper, and I'll talk about the how big that impact will be in just a second. But for now, Josh Allen and what he's been able to do, like he's had his moments where he's been able to wield these teams to victories, i.e. on last night. Got his team a dub over the Jets team. It just depends on how good or bad you think that Jets team is. But I just feel like that defense is good. So being able to put up 23 points there were some key drops that he had. I know he hit Keon on a back shoulder fade and hit him right in the numbers and he dropped it. Like I just feel like there's some things that when you get someone like an Amari Cooper who can one-on-one get to it and get busy. He can route you up, down, side to side, however you want it. You get routed up. And so I do personally feel like that's a big move that people are probably going to go more for the Devontae side, but Amari Cooper as a receiver is so underrated. And so I got the Lions at 5. They just beat the brakes off the Cowboys. I don't necessarily think that the Cowboys are a good football team, but 47-9 is wild. So they're playing really good football right now. Their whole thing is injuries. They lose Aiden Hutchinson to a broken fibula, who was leading the NFL in sacks. So it's going to be a tough road for them on the defensive side. We'll see what happens if they make any moves to try to keep that pass rush to create a pass rush. They need somebody to create a pass rush. And so 4-1, they're offensively, they're doing their thing. They found their identity. They have a two-headed monster at the running back position. Jared Goff, I've very well documented, been saying when he has the threat of the play action, and it's a legit threat with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Yeah, this is at that point he's lethal. And so St. Brown, Jameson Williams has come on finally. Laporta. Yeah, the Lions are nice, and they're going to be one of those teams where I probably got end up having them my favorite to get to the Super Bowl and represent the NFC in the end. But for now, I got them at 5. At 4, I got the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, like I mentioned, they're definitely hitting their stride right now. They finally listened to what football minds have been saying. I understand the skill set that Lamar has, but you got to get Derrick Henry in the eye. At least get him a couple steps so he can gain that momentum, put him behind a big body Ricard, and let him go downhill. And so they learned. And now, 6 weeks in a row, Derrick Henry has a touchdown, but especially over the last couple of weeks, he's been running the ball. He's the NFL's leading rusher right now. And I'm going to talk about it later and hit what his greatness is, but boy, he's a cheat code. It's 6'4", 250, and he can run like 21 miles an hour. Like, bro, what am I supposed to do with that? But the Ravens at 4, and I didn't even mention Lamar Jackson yet. But Ravens in at 4, at 4-2. I got the Houston Texans at 3, with a 5-1 record. Nico Collins is out right now, but they still are rolling. CJ Stroud is playing really good football, one of the best quarterbacks in the league at this point. And I just feel like that team is going to be lethal. It's just how good can they be when it matters, i.e. the playoffs. And so at 2, very surprising team. Nobody had this team going into the season. But 5-0, I still don't believe in Sam Darnold. I could be wrong. I very well could be wrong. But I just don't believe it. Like, same thing like I just said with the Houston Texans. Like, when it matters, can you count on Sam Darnold? I don't know. I don't think so. Keep it a buck. I truly don't. So we will see. But right now they're playing really good football, undefeated. I believe they're coming off of a bye week next week, and so or they just had a bye week. So next time they play, they had a week to prepare for this team. So I believe they should go 6-0 no matter who they're playing. But then I just don't truly believe in Sam Darnold. So call me a hater. But the Kansas City Chiefs, their offensive woes are like very big offensive woes, and Patrick Mahomes is not playing the best football right now. But I just believe that they're just one of them teams that, one, they're going to have the refs on their side. I know that's controversial, but they're going to have the refs on their side. And then Mahomes is going to end up doing what Mahomes do somehow, no matter who's on that team. He going to find a way to get it done. And they 5-0 right now. They got some good victories. They beat Baltimore. They beat Buffalo. And so I'm just like, no, they beat Cincinnati. I don't think they beat Buffalo yet. And so I'm like, I hate to say it, man. They get on my nerves. I'm a Raider fan, so obviously I don't like them. But right now, Kansas City playing best football. That defense is balling, holding teams to a very low amount of points. And Steelers defense too, which also is one of the reasons why I don't blame the Steelers for trying to see what they get out of Russ. Just with the ability to push the ball down the field, you would like to see that a little bit more than what Justin is producing. But at the same time, that offensive line is atrocious. And so at 10, I got Tampa Bay. I got Steelers at 9, Green Bay at 8, Washington Commanders at 7, 6, got the Buffalo Bills, Detroit Lions at 5, Ravens at 4, Texans at 3, Vikings at 2, and Kansas City at 1. And so I alluded to a couple different trades, but Devontae Adams was traded from the Raiders. Hate to see him go, but I understand. I just don't like our compensation. That's a whole nother day. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. But Devontae Adams traded to the Jets. Amari Cooper traded from Cleveland to Buffalo. Who will have the bigger impact? Honestly, I feel like everybody's going to go with Adams, but I feel like Amari Cooper is going to have the biggest impact because I feel like he fulfills a need where like Devontae Adams is kind of like the cherry on top to a certain degree. Like, and plus, I just ultimately don't feel like this really moves the needle that much. I feel like Aaron got to play better football, and I get it. There's certain things when I feel like this one here is a move where there's trust. Because the one thing you can say about Allen Lazard might not be the best wide receiver in the league, but he got Aaron trust. And so there's certain throws that Aaron will throw to Lazard, and I'm like, how the hell did they complete that? But there's a trust and reliability and knowing what the other person is thinking that this trade for Devontae Adams makes perfect sense in that realm. But I don't know. I still don't see them winning the Super Bowl. So I'm like, I get it. You got to do something because it's just not working right now. But I don't feel like it moves the needle. Where I feel like Amari Cooper, although it's not the talent that Devontae Adams is, the need he fulfills is, and the market that he plays in. Because the one thing you can say about Amari Cooper is those big games and big markets, he kind of disappeared. And so Buffalo's not that big of a market. Cleveland wasn't that big of a market, but you can look through the years that he was with Cleveland and look at what he did. And so I feel like very underrated receiver, gives them the ability to take on number one corners and still be able to move the ball down the field from an individual standpoint. But also what he does where Keon Coleman can be a number 2 receiver, learn from Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is very productive right now as we speak. And so giving Josh Allen that run game, a number 1 receiver that can move the chains but also create a big play I think is going to pay more dividends for the Buffalo Bills than the Jets getting Devontae Adams. So my answer is Cooper is going to have a bigger impact on the team that he's on, but I'm not saying that he's a better wide receiver than Devontae Adams. And so Paul George, we'll start calling him Mr. Glass because hyperextended knee. Joel Embiid comes out and says he's not going to play any back-to-backs. Not who do you trust, but do you trust the 76ers? Hell no. No. Nah. Ain't no way. They gonna find somebody gonna get hurt. I don't care. Even people that don't normally get hurt gonna get hurt. Joel Embiid is gonna have some kind of issue at some point. Paul George gonna have some kind of injury. As cold as Paul George is, them injuries is one thing. It's so annoying. I've never seen somebody get so nicked and knacked to the point where it kind of handicaps your career. Like he's so good, but he can never really get that real achievement because he always hurt. The one time we got to see him really hoop was when Kawhi got hurt. And he still got to the Western Conference Finals. And he was balling too. So in the end, he has it in him, but their injury history, I just don't trust it. I feel like they have a really good team this year. They have a deep team. Their injury history, I just don't know. I feel like they're gonna go deep. Pause. Yo, that was crazy. I feel like they're gonna go deep in the playoffs because of the depth and the talent on the team, but I just don't see them like beating the Knicks in a way. Like I just don't see it happening. Like to me, I would trust the Knicks more than I trust the Sixers. Although then both of them teams gonna lose to the Celtics. So no, I do not in no way, shape, or form trust them Philadelphia 76ers. Boy, that was for to eat me up. Pause. And so can Derrick Henry finish his career as a top 5 running back? I have I missed out on it last week, but last week he ran over 10,000 yards, or he accumulated over 10,000 yards. And it got me thinking, and because of like he's such a freak of nature. But the one thing that I do want to say when it comes to, I feel like at some point we do kind of gotta put people in certain categories. Like there are certain running backs that when it came to running the football, they just were that guy. But there's also different. I can't penalize. I feel like I shouldn't penalize a player for what he wasn't asked to do. And those are the things that where I feel like we got to have different tiers and different like categories. But because it's as much as I want to say, it's like I could go through a list of people or like a Walter Payton. I feel like Barry Sanders, although he wasn't asked to do it, has the talent level to be able to be a running back that can catch out of the backfield, but also is a phenomenal runner of the football. And I feel like him, Walter Payton, and Daniel Tomlinson, like those are football players that were pass catchers. Even like Emmitt Smith to a certain degree, he wasn't of the ilk of like a LT, but he still was a formidable person out of the backfield. But then you have the likes of like an Adrian Peterson, Eric Dickerson, Earl Campbell, Jim Brown, like these runners of the football, as much as people don't want to talk about it, OJ Simpson was a hell of a runner of the football. And so it's like when you start to go through these lists, it's hard because immediately I'm going to go LT, Walter Payton, and Barry Sanders over him. As much as Emmitt Smith is the all-time rushing leader, I don't really have him in my 5. If not, maybe he's 5. Because I'm definitely going to go LT, Adrian Peterson, Barry Sanders, and Walter Payton before I get to Emmitt. And then at that point, it's like, all right, like I really like Fred Taylor too. Like I think that Fred don't get enough love the way that he should, because he played on some of them terrible Jaguars teams. But I think Fred Taylor was cold. So I think Derrick Henry right now is on pace for almost 2,000 yards this year. So I can see where he would end up amassing like, I think he got like this year and next year of like some big chunk running yards that he can put up, but I don't think he got too much. I don't see him being super productive as the head back for longer than next year. And as much as I hate to say it, it's just the tax that it puts on your body. I don't care how big of a running back he is. He ain't Superman. And so Ben Simmons, we finally got to see Ben Simmons on the court. Wasn't a bunch of minutes, but he was aggressive. I think he put up 11, 5, and like 6 or something like that in like 18 minutes or something. And so, but when you watch the clips and you see him play, it is a little, that back injury took something from him. I don't feel like he has the quite the same lift, but the skill set and explosiveness that he has, if you move him position wise, like you put someone fast, like a smaller person. He's 6'10" and was playing the point position. So you have the ability to like match him up with 4s and 5s on a defensive side. And also being able to get those mismatches and take advantage of it where he might not be fast enough for like the smaller ones, but he's bigger. He's only twice their size essentially. At most point guards, if you match him up with a point guard, 6'10", So he'll be able to use his size, speed against bigs, and be able to get to the rim. But you can definitely see going to the basket that he don't have quite the lift because he used to dunk on people. He puts you in the rim. And so I do expect him to have a good year from an individual standpoint as long as he can stay healthy. I think that when he plays, he's going to be effective. He's going to make a difference on the court, but it's just a matter of can he stay healthy. He goes into that Paul George category of I just want to see you healthy, bro, and then that's enough for me to be happy for you. And so I talked about him a little bit earlier, going back to Lamar Jackson. And should he be the MVP leader right now? And I don't think there's any doubt about it. Honestly, I feel like the productiveness he's had on the field over the course of a 4 week period, back to back to back, beating Josh Allen, Dak, Joe Burrow. Um, did he just beat the sensation right now, the new sensation, Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders? And so I think the way he's winning right now, it's gonna be weird, a weird conversation because of how he won the MVP last year. If you go look at his numbers, they weren't really gaudy, but at the same time, you look and it's like when you watch the tape, it's like, yo, pretty much he won the MVP off the strength of how he gave work to the 49ers and how good that team was. And so right now he's balling in a way that he looks like the faraway MVP. What he's been able to do on the ground, through the air, Zay Flowers is really progressed, so it's helping give him a real number one receiver. Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews is back, and then just the ability to be able to act like you finna hand the ball off to Derrick Henry. Like that threat alone is opening so much up from him that I think he should be the leader. But at the same time, I think if things continue to keep going the way that they're going, once they get later in the year, I think it's going and Derrick Henry is still balling. I feel like it's going to it's going to take away some MVP votes, and that's the thing for me is why I don't know if he should be the far away MVP because Derrick Henry is definitely the putting him in the eye is showing how valuable he can be. And that's the part for me where I'm like, I can see, but right now, Lamar Jackson, I think the double stiff arm, Derek Jeter-esque hop, skip, touchdown throw to Isaiah Likely is just got him in a different category right now. So I got Lamar Jackson leading the MVP race, but it's a lot of season left. We're only in week 7. And so off top, let's start with, you know what? I know it's LeBron's son, but can we cover some of these other rookies, please? Like Sarr up in Atlanta. I actually got the chance to watch Rob Dillingham the other day. He been cooking. Edie has been showing that he's gonna be someone that will be able to be on the floor, or at least will be given an opportunity to get on the floor. So we'll see if he's able to use his size. So far, he's been hooping. From what I've seen, as he's definitely affecting shots at the rim. He's giving them the ability to pick and pop, good post work, or at least a decent hook shot. And I feel like at that size, there's just people that, like, I get it, it's Bronny. Like, I get it, but come on, bro. If he not balling, why is this shit everywhere? And it just don't make sense to me. Like, not even from a hate standpoint, but I get it. Let him develop. I understand it's a story. I get it, like, to some degree, because this is definitely not something we've seen, like a star of that magnitude. Shoot, let alone anybody ever play with their son. But a star of that magnitude play with their son, I get it. But at the end of the day, bro, like, he not even really hooping. He get like 2 points, like 2 steals, and then we over here and we got it posted everywhere. Like, what? Y'all got to be trolling at some point. Like, why is this shit everywhere? And so I just wanted to get that off my chest. One more thing I got to get off my chest before I get up out of here. Yo, can we dead the 50-50 on the Bills conversation on social media. Like, I get it, but y'all be giving these podcast hosts too much power and credit, bro. Like, at the end of the day, they some regular folks that grab the microphone and start having conversation. And people be making their personalities based off of like these people that they watch. And it's like, bro, what you own? Like, the things I hear men say, the things I hear women say, and I was like, I've seen this on an Instagram clip before. And it's like, bro, what we own? Like, if you are a person that is okay with going 50-50 on your bills, that's all right. But you know what else is also all right? Also all right. If you're one of them women that like your man to pay the bills, or if you're a man who feels like men should be paying the bills, that's also all right. But if those two people meet, one person ain't wrong and the other person ain't wrong. Like, I just don't understand this disconnect in understanding. It's almost like everybody wants to be different, but don't nobody want nobody else to be different. And I just don't get it. Like, it's okay. If that's what you want, that's all right. If that's not what you want, that's also all right. And I'm tired of seeing it. The gender wars is getting crazy on social media. I just don't understand it, y'all. Like, where did this shit come from? I just feel like we need to dead the 50-50 conversation. It's all right on both sides. Don't make nobody feel like they broke or anybody feel like they insecure or whatnot because they can't afford this or don't want to do this. Because me not wanting to do this does not mean I'm broke. No, that's just something I don't want to do. Why does that mean I'm broke? Don't make no sense. But thank you all for watching. I do got to get up out of here. Like I mentioned before at the beginning of the show, make sure you go subscribe. Trying to get to 100 subscribers on YouTube. Type in Juke Network, JUK Network, and follow and subscribe there. I am in the process of rebuilding the Facebook, a new Facebook page. So, like the He Say She Say channel right now for updates and content. Follow the Instagram Juke Sport Show, JUK Sport Show, and you can follow me at KYNGRALPH on TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, @_ for X or Twitter. And I got to get up out of here. I'm going to fuck with y'all, though.